What is going on, YouTube? You see the smile on my face, you see the thumbnail, you see the title of this video. This is a very highly requested video. And so another YouTuber just moved to Brazil, and I replied to another one of his videos before, and I'll reply to another one again because, again, these are things that I had to live through. I've been here for almost 3 years, and like I've been through a lot of these things that a lot of people have questions for, right? So yeah, we're about to get into it. It's your favorite expat, Rocky in real time. And shout out to Flamingo, shout out to Ronaldinho, shout out to Gabby Goal. Like I said, I'm very excited for this video. I had a great week. And yeah, we're about to get into it. I have like a bunch of tips and everything just waiting for you guys, man. And I promise you, check the date on this video. You're not gonna find this anywhere else on YouTube. I promise you. Like, who? Name one person. Name one person. All right. So, there's two ways. There's two segments for this video, right? The first segment is going to be the tips that you should kind of look out for, the things that you should look out for when you're looking for an apartment here in Brazil, or just to be aware of. And then I'm going to show you a couple sites that you can go and use. I'm going to just, turn around, put the screencast on, show you how to use these sites, show you what my preferred site is, and, just how to just browse around and look for apartments. But the tips part, I feel like, is going to be way more beneficial. So just stay tuned. They're both equally value filled, but there's so many tips here that I wish I knew when I was renting an apartment here, right? So we're gonna start really basic, right? Really basic, right? So yeah, these are the tips and things that you should be aware of when renting an apartment in Brazil, right? So the payment structure, or just like what does the price consist of, right? So you have taxas de condomínio, condominium tax, and the IPTU, which is like this tax that you need to pay to the mayor or the prefeitura. And you have like the actual rent for the apartment, right? So it's usually broken up into those like 3 little payments, and you'll see them on sites. And they'll have little like sections for the IPTU, and the taxas de condomínio, and the rent and all that other stuff, and it factors into this one price. So depending on the city, the region, the building, the management company, your landlord, those fees can be very different. So one neighborhood might be, the IPTUs might be really expensive, and the others, they might not be, or it might be more expensive or cheaper in another city. So that's one thing to note. And one other thing before I preface everything and just talk about just Brazil in general, because I think people don't understand the geographical space that this place covers, right? This country, just this one country alone, takes up 60% of South America, right? It is literally half of Latin America. It is 87% the size of the United States. In fact, the only reason that the United States is actually bigger than Brazil is the annexation of Alaska. Alaska is 17% of the size of the US. That's the biggest state. There's no state that's even close to Alaska. I think the biggest state after that is like 3%, and that might be like Texas or California or something. But yeah, if it wasn't for Alaska, Brazil would be bigger than the United States. So I think this might be even a part 1 video, because there's so many things to be aware of. And like literally before this video, I just because this is such a requested topic, and like I said, my boy Skyler, he just made a video, and he was voicing his frustrations about finding an apartment here in Brazil. So I just jotted this down on a piece of paper. I just, so yeah. Anyway, next tip. You might need a fiador, right? And basically that is a guarantor, right? So especially if you're, in certain regions or using certain sites like OLX, a lot of the companies on there, or just in general, a lot of the like rental companies and stuff, they're going to require you to get a fiador. So if you flying solo out here, flying solo dolo, you don't have any proof of your sort of financial worthiness or whatnot. Like a lot of times they'll give you hassle and they'll give you a hard time about having foreign documents. Even if you have the money to pay, you can have thousands in your account. Like it's not a Brazilian account and you don't have a track record here, right? And sometimes they'll even give you stress and hassle about being, you know, a foreigner and not having permanent residency. So that's one thing to be very aware of. Like you might need a fiador, right? Another thing to be aware of, right? A lot of these apartments don't come with anything, not even a light bulb, bruh, not even a light bulb. So I think I talked about this in my other video where I broke down how much it cost me to move to Brazil. I briefly went into like how much the furniture and stuff cost me and whatnot on average and whatnot. So the cabinets and stuff that you see in that video, they're called armários. So those are kitchen cabinets and stuff. That didn't come with the apartment. Some apartments come with them, some apartments don't. Some apartments come with electric domesticals, like, you know, appliances, in other words, like a stove, your fridge, dishwasher, and a lot of that other stuff. But a lot of apartments really don't come with anything. They come with nothing, just the paint on the wall and the wood on the floors. No light bulbs, nothing. It's not mobile, you know, they call it mobilado, like it's furnished, right? So yeah. Also, there is a peculiar thing that I found out that, like I said, you're not going to find this information anywhere. There's a peculiar thing that I found out about, you know, renting apartments here, right? And so you look on a listing, right? And you see it says 2 bedrooms, it's 3 bedrooms. And this is really just and I'm going to explain the history and why this is the case, right? This really boils down to the older buildings versus the newer buildings in Brazil, right? So a lot of times in these old money neighborhoods like Boa Viagem or like, you know, in Recife or here Bahia, you know, in Salvador or like Copacabana and, you know, all these other old money neighborhoods where like the buildings are somewhat old, like maybe 60 years or more older, right? They have this, you look on a listing, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, you go in there and instead of 3 bedrooms, you kind of see 4 bedrooms, or instead of 2 bedrooms, you kind of see 3 bedrooms, and so on and so forth, right? And so in Brazil, historically, right, they had a room called a dependencia, and this is basically where the maids slept, right? So it's a room, and it's usually detached from the apartment, and it's like in the back, like behind the kitchen, or like there's a side area near. It's usually near the kitchen because the maids that come, they cook and they clean and all that other stuff. And it has its own bathroom, like literally a bathroom that looks like a closet. It's not very big at all. A lot of them I've seen, you can barely fit and kick your legs. You're on the toilet, you sit on the toilet, you kick your leg, you kick in the door, right? And this just goes down to how they've treated the maids and, you know, who are mostly black in the past and historically here in Brazil. A lot of these rooms kind of look like a storage room, or they have a large pole running through them, or they just look kind of like dungeony, right? Right now, my wife's using it as her office. She, you know, psychologist, does therapy, whatever. So she's using that as her office, right? But I didn't know about this, and you might not know about this either. So a lot of times if you rent an older apartment or an apartment in an older building, you're going to find these dependencias, these little extra rooms that you can convert into like an office or maybe just use as a storage room. But I've only seen, out of all the times that like I've rented or like I was looking for apartments and been renting apartments in Brazil, I've seen like one dependencia, which was like, oh, okay, that's actually, it could like be a little room. Like it had a nice, like a lot of times they don't have any windows. And if they do have windows, you don't get much light. So you don't want to really live in that room. So it's not really a bedroom. So I understand why they don't call it a bedroom, even though people used to live there. A lot of them just don't even have like, you know, laminate flooring on the floor, like just straight up concrete. Like I said, they really maltreated these maids and, you know, and I like, yeah, it's just, that's just something to be aware of. They have dependencias, right? So another tip, right? A lot of the, you know, rentings or, you know, rentals or apartments, a lot of times they're not listed, right? especially if you go outside of the touristy neighborhoods. And this just really boils down to where you want to live. And if you know where you want to live and it's outside of a touristy neighborhood, sometimes you might have to, put your feet to the pavement and look around. And you'll see these signs that say alugase, which is, for rent. And, you might have to visit the, less popular or less touristy neighborhoods to find this. And, you could find some good apartments there too. But just be aware of that. So this will only really apply to if you're looking for an apartment that's not really in a touristy neighborhood and it's like, some other neighborhood outside of the touristy neighborhoods that they, some people are older and they don't really know how to use technology. Like, a lot of these people are old money people and they're older people, like older couples or an older person renting out that apartment, and they'll just literally stick a sign in the window, right? This next one is a big one, right? One of my friends had to go through this because he did not know, right? He did not know the difference between Nascenshi and Poenshi. Nascenshi, like the rising of the sun, or Nascenshi, like Nase means to be born or to grow or whatever. And Poenshi, like Poji Soul, like the, sunset. Those are two separate things, right? When you're looking for an apartment, make sure you ask them, especially if it has lots of windows and balconies and stuff like that, because Brazil, a lot of the apartments have these large ass windows. I've seen windows that like literally almost started at the floor and nearly touch the ceiling. Like a lot of these apartments have huge windows, right? And I like that. Make sure you ask whoever is showing you the apartment, hey, is this a Nascenshi or Poenshi place, right? So make sure it's a Nascenshi place. And I'll tell you why. So Nascenshi, right? That basically means that the sun is rising and the sun pretty much hits you in the morning, right? And during that time before noon, noon, it's like the sun is at its like highest point, and it's usually like that's like when it's like the hottest in the day. So before then, if the sun is hitting you and hitting your balcony or your windows or whatever space the sun can shine on in your apartment, from that angle, because like a lot of apartments, they face one side of the building or they face the other side of the building and all that other stuff. So you want to make sure you get a Nascenshi, because Nascenshi, the sun is going to hit you, but it's not going to be that hot. Once it gets to that midday and it starts falling and your apartment happens to be on the Poenshi side, it's going to feel like a hot box in that mofo, man. It's going to feel like you a Christmas turkey ready to be, not even ready. You're in the oven already, right? Because I've actually kicked it at one of my homies' places. It's a Poenshi place. And I was there in the evening and it was hot. And I didn't know why. I was like, damn, why am I sweating? Like, why am I sweating so much? And then I realized, he told me later, he's like, it's a Poenshi. He's saying it's in Portuguese. He's a Brazilian guy. And he says, it's a Poenshi place. And then like I heard it from another one of my friends who's from England. He moved here. He's an expat. So that's another major tip as well. Also, a lot of you want to live near a beach, right? And there's one tip I didn't even throw in here. I just thought of it now about living near the beach, right? Your apartments that have balconies or windows or whatever facing the beach are going to be more expensive. So if you have a balcony and and like your building has balconies and is facing the beach and you have somewhat of a view, expect to pay more. Expect that apartment to be a little bit more pricier than the others in the building. That's just how it is. Like, people want a view. People want to be next to the beach. And if you have a view of the beach in your apartment, the balcony on your apartment or the windows are facing the beach, that place is going to be a little bit more expensive than if it's facing a street or just facing a bunch of other random buildings, right? Next one is another one. Am I going in order? Let me go in order. So I'll talk about the other one, about living near the beach a little bit later. So in your apartments, right, there's a space where they hang clothes, and like a lot of times there's like this clothing rack which has like an apparatus or whatever where you can like pull the rope down and you can hang your clothes and whatever and then pull it back up, and it's like a little area you can dry it in, right? So they call this place a varão, right? It's you dry your clothes in this area. make sure you have space for that, because, all right, so this just goes down to how like a lot of the buildings are constructed, because like they don't have space sometimes for both a washer and a dryer. So make sure you're asking whoever's, showing you the apartment, hey, is there a Vidal here? Like, yo, is there a place for both a washer and dryer? Because them machines that are washer and dryer together are a lot more expensive, and their hookup is a little different. And a lot of buildings do not have this hookup. A lot of buildings do not have this hookup at all. So even if you bought the washer dryer, it wouldn't matter, because like you wouldn't be able to hook it up. So it needs like a special installation, and you got to ask the landlord, and you got to get okay for it. So, and those dryers, those washer and dryer combo sets, like the one that comes all in one, like it's one machine that does both, they're a lot more expensive here. Most people just buy a washer, and then they have a space in the Vidal where they hang clothes. So if you're going to go that route, make sure you have somewhat of some sort of space to hang your clothes, right? That's another one. Another big one, right? And a lot of you are going to experience this, right? Especially if you have no family ties in Brazil. You have nobody, you're just moving here dolo, right? I believe there's a woman, I think her name is Gabby. She commented on my videos like she is, moving here with her husband. So Gabby, if you're watching, make sure you get someone to basically, like, I guess, give you some sort of proof of rent. Like, it's kind of like, you can use a fiador, yeah, but a lot of times they want to see your rental history, and they don't care about your rental history in America or, anywhere else, wherever you're from. They want to see proof of Brazilian rental history. And if you don't have that, you're probably going to have to, and this happens with foreigners who come to the United States, right? A lot of times, even if they got the money to pay the rent or whatever, since they don't have a credit line or credit history, they're going to have to pay like a year up front, right? So for me, my first apartment, I had to pay like 6 months up front because I didn't have proof of Brazilian rent history. So be mindful of that. If you don't have proof of Brazilian rent or renting somewhere in Brazil, you're probably gonna have to negotiate and pay 6 months, maybe a year, if they're really trying to give you a hard time. But there's some websites, and I'll explain this later, that you look for apartments on. They're less strict about their restrictions and the rules, right? And speaking of rules, this kind of goes without saying. I mean, you got to ask your landlord if you want to put it up on your apartment. If you do, or when you do get an apartment here in Brazil, most times you can't Airbnb it at all. Most times. Run it by your landlord, because maybe, hey, they might let you. Like, you might be out of town for a little bit and you don't want it to just be vacant. That's cool. That's understandable. But most times they won't let you. But again, just run it by your landlord and, see what they say. And also, there's going to be some buildings, right, that are going to have a lot of amenities, like a pool, a barbecue space. Some of these newer buildings have co-working spaces, bike racks, washer rooms, infinity pools, all that stuff, right? And some buildings have nothing. They have no sort of amenities. They have, just maybe your parking spaces, and that's it. So be mindful of that. If you're someone that kind of wants to do everything in one place, you might want to host some parties. You need a big room. I think they call it a sala or something, or salão. Like, you need one of those big rooms. Like, there's like a room that you can reserve and have parties in. And you want some, like, a pool or, like, gyms and all this other stuff. Like, make sure, if you want that, make sure you check with the building and see if they have that, because not all buildings out here are made equal. A lot of them are new and include all that stuff. A lot of them are old and just have barely any of that stuff, right? I think I already talked about the large windows, and Brazil has a lot of large windows in their apartments. So yeah, you'll get a lot of sunlight, which I like. So yeah, there's not going to be a problem with that. Coming back to living near the beach, and this is something that I'm going through that I have to be cautious of, because I live near the beach. When you live near the beach, there's a lot of salt water in the air. The air is dense and it's moist and all that other stuff. So be careful if you have a lot of be careful if you have a lot of electronics like I do. Like you've seen some of my videos, I got like 6 screens here, got a lot of electronics, you know, I'm into tech. So that's the problem I'm dealing with. I did not know about that before coming here. Maybe I would have chosen something different or maybe a different place, but I don't leave the windows open in my office a lot at all. And because of that rust and the dense air and all the other stuff, I do have to clean my screens and my appliances and my office in general a little bit more, especially if I decide to leave the window open for a bit. But be mindful of that, because that can mess up your shit. It can rust your electronics and your screens and your metals and your all that stuff. So be mindful of that. If you're bringing a lot of electronics, and like I said, you might have to because they're really expensive in Brazil. Be mindful living near the beach because, you know, over time your stuff can rust a lot quicker. Also, back to the point about Brazil being a huge and massive country. Renting somewhere, like a lot of people think that the weather here is like very uniform. Like it's hot, and you know, there's some places in the south of Brazil where it snows. There's some places where in the interior, like Brasilia, some places in Minas Gerais, where the air is really hot and arid and it's dry and it's not as humid and moist as, you know, somewhere along the coast. A lot of these cities like Recife, Salvador, you know, Rio de Janeiro, they're on the coast. So they're a lot more moist and it rains a lot more. It rains a lot in a lot of these cities. So be mindful of that. Like this country has like 4 time zones, I think, like three actually, sorry. 3 time zones. Is a massive country, right? There's even within the same state, even where I am right here in Bahia, like Salvador is really wet, but you go to Feira de Santana and it's dry and it's hot. It is hot. It is arid. You know what I mean? So be mindful of that. Also, coming back to the weather part, if you have some sort of open space, like a lot of these places have like large balconies, or you might get a penthouse spot where, like, you know, you got like the rooftop to yourself, like you have your apartment on one side and then you have an open roof area on the other side. If you're in the city like the one I just described, or the ones I've just described where it rains a lot, be prepared for that. Like there's gonna be a lot of rain. Or if you have like one of these like open area places where, you know, like some of these apartments just have like an open, like it's not even a balcony, I don't know how to describe it, it's just like a big ass open window. Like Brazilians, they like their open spaces. Like I said, they have big windows, big balconies and all the other stuff. So if you get one of those spaces and you're in a place that it rains a lot, be prepared to deal with that. Like you might not want to keep things out on a balcony or forget things on a balcony, like your electronics or books or anything that you don't want to get wet, essentially. Or you might not want to leave the window or the balcony screen door open, because a lot of them have these like sliding doors and whatnot, because the rain coupled with the wind is going to just blow sideways and blow into your apartment and get a lot of things wet. So be mindful of that. Also, a lot of these buildings, so like my wife, she has condo in her name that her little brother's living in, right? And there they have gas hookups in the building, right? So you turn the stove on, boom, you have gas, right? You just have to pay the gas bill or whatever, right? In older buildings, especially like, you know, old money neighborhoods like here in Baja, you have to buy the gas cylinder. Like you actually have to get the cylinder. They got these Petro gas or whatever, Brazil gas or whatever. They got these cylinders and you have to buy them like every month. It's like about $20 to refill the cylinder. Sometimes they usually switch. A lot of times you don't have the same cylinder. They just switch it out. It's like in the olden days in the States or in a lot of countries, they still have the little bottles that you switch out, like when you drink Coke and stuff. So it's kind of like that. Like you switch out your old gas, your old gas tank cylinder or whatever for a new one that's full of gas, when it runs out, you call the company, you pay, or they come and bring the cylinder, and then they switch it out for you. So be mindful of that. That's something that you're going to have to sort of deal with as you're living here in Brazil if you have an older apartment where you have to get the gas cylinder. Also, a lot of apartments have electric showers, and I don't like that because it's like not that safe. So you have the electric showers, and yeah, so you gotta be mindful of that because sometimes the wires will get exposed or whatever. And then some newer apartments, they have completely the hot water is gas heated and whatnot. So ask around, ask your realtor or whoever's showing you the apartment about those things, because yeah, like you might not like that, or it's just something to be aware of, right? So yeah, I think I pretty much talked about all of the tips that I wanted to talk about. I'm about to jump in to the websites that you can use to find a lot of these these apartments and stuff, right? Oh yeah, and if this is your first time in Brazil, you're pretty new, you like haven't read much or you haven't explored much, just stick to the touristy neighborhoods, right? And like if you're in Rio de Janeiro, for example, right? Ipanema, Leblon, Copacabana, Flamengo, all of these, Botafogo. Like stick to those kind of touristy neighborhoods where there's a somewhat of a police presence, and there's a lot of things that open late, and kind of caters to tourists. So like you get your feet wet in those neighborhoods, right? Over here in Salvador is Ongina, Baja, Vitoria, Graça, Rio Vermelho to an extent. You stick to those neighborhoods before you can when your Portuguese starts to get better, you can branch out. And speaking of which, I'm probably going to make a very, very, very value-filled video about how to learn Portuguese. Side note, right? All right, so I'm going to take you into the websites that you use to, or that you can use to rent apartments here in Brazil. And there's like 4 main ones, right? So there's OLX, and OLX is cool. It's just that they don't specialize in renting apartment. It's like a Craigslist. You have everything and anything on there, right? Including cars, apartments, electronics, and a bunch of stuff. So I'm not really feeling that site all that much, but nonetheless, it's still a site where you can find some quality apartments. So don't sleep on it. I'm just telling you what I think of the site. I like sites and things that are optimized for whatever you want to use them for, right? So there's other sites. There's another site, Zap Imoveis. That's another good site. Quinto Andar. That's another good site. And like I said before, Quinto Andar. I don't think I mentioned this before. Actually, sorry. Quinto Andar is gonna have less restrictions about things like having the proof of Brazilian rent, or like just a bunch of other restrictions that you might find with some of these like realty companies, or like you might find with a company on that's posted an apartment on OLX. So yeah, but Quinto Andar is more suited for cities in like the south and the southeast. So Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Curitiba, Santa Catarina. So as you go further south, you basically have better luck finding nicer and better apartments on Quinto Andar. So not to say you can't find anything here in the northeast, like in Natal or Salvador or Recife or Pará or whatever state you want to move to. Like you definitely use Quinto Andar, but like I'm just saying, like it's definitely, especially since their headquarters I think is in Sao Paulo, so they are optimized for that southeast region. A lot of money in the country is concentrated in that region, so they're optimized for that area. So yeah, and then there's Viva Real. So those are the sites. I'm going to take you through some of them, and yeah, I think I've gone through everything. Yeah, I went through everything that I jotted down. So yeah, I'm going to take you through, just the UI and just how to navigate and go through apartments on these sites. So I'm going to jump over to my screencast on my computer, and then we're going to continue this video. Alrighty, we are back. I'm at my computer and we're about to screencast. So I want to just show you these sites and just run through them real briefly, just so you can see how the interface is and whatnot. So let me go to Brazil. So we're about to jump into Oilish because it's the most popular one. O maior site de compra e venda do Brasil. Alright, let me jump into that. Yo, sometimes my Wi-Fi be messing up. Hold up, let me just see if, let me get on the right network. All right. Okay, here we go. So here's Oilish. Click that out there. So you want to go to Imoveis, right? You want to go to Imoveis, and for your city of, your target city, you're going to want to put your city in when that loads, right? So since I'm in Bahia, I'm going to just do Bahia. If it loads, yo, my Wi-Fi is slow. Oh, that's another thing. Wow. I forgot a tip. And you know what just reminded me? The Wi-Fi. So there's two major, there's a few others. So there's like Team, and there's like the major, internet providers and whatnot. And depending on your neighborhood that you live in, this is another solid tip. So before I even get into the oil leash, let me tell you about this. Depending on the neighborhood you live in Brazil, sometimes the Wi-Fi is gonna work better in certain neighborhoods, and or not the Wi-Fi. So certain providers are gonna work better in certain neighborhoods. So make sure before you rent an apartment, before you sign on that dotted line, you ask your neighbors. Because I'm using Team right now, TIM, and it's been giving me a hassle. So I think I might switch to Claro. That's another internet service provider out here. Internet and phone and whatnot. It's from what I've heard and from what other people have told me, like based on the neighborhood that we're in, they tend to have better service and less downtime and faster upload and download speed. So make sure you check that. Make sure you ask around. Maybe if you're viewing an apartment, you happen to see a neighbor or something, like, hey, what's your internet provider? It's like, e aí, mano, qual tipo de internet você está usando? Ask them what they're using. But anyway, back to OLH. Just like I said, it might be a part 2 because there's so much stuff that I have in my head sitting up here that, I might not have remembered it all, like little stuff I have to deal with and stuff. So, just keep that in mind. It might be a part 2 to this video. So yeah, you're in, after you hit Imoveis, you hit your city, you want to do aluguel, casas y apartamentos, or rent houses and apartments. You click that, and I recommend just renting an apartment. You can rent a house, but just rent an apartment. It's like, come on, what are you doing? So you click an apartment, right? It's gonna load. Let me go back to Bahia. It might be just OBS too. I don't know. OBS takes a lot of bandwidth, takes a lot of RAM. Whenever I'm using it, I might switch to some other screencasting software, but OBS is free. So it's gonna ask you to select a city to narrow down the search results. And the DDD is like your area code, essentially. So, in the United States, you have your area codes of what is California? 323 LA, Brooklyn 718, DC 202. So DDD is like your area code for Salvador, and a lot of Bahia is going to begin with a 7. Salvador is 7-1. Rio de Janeiro is 2-1. I forget what Sao Paulo is, but you get the point. So whenever you hear that in Brazil, DDD, and that's how it's pronounced. It's not pronounced DDD. It's pronounced DDD. When you hear that, that's them asking you, whenever you go fill up your phone, whatever, your pay-as-you-go phone service at a pharmacy or wherever, DDD, that's your area code. So yeah, I'm gonna click Salvador, and you can click Salvador the city, like, because there's Grande Salvador, so that is like cities on the outskirts of Salvador, like Camaçari, and you'll see this in other places too, like Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, like other places. The Grande Salvador is like, they have Lourdes de Freitas, Camaçari, other places, Peripi, like they have other places, but like you want to select the city itself. So you can see when you narrow down in a city, you have, about 6,000 plus results. And then also you can go and select the actual neighborhood. So I'm going to narrow down the neighborhood so you can see Baja. Let me see. I think where we at? Where is it? Caminho de Árvores. Where is that? And this is just hypothetical. I'm just showing you that you within the city, Ongina. Okay, that's another one. Within the city, you can just select a bunch of neighborhoods. And again, you want to do your research and try, if is your first time in Brazil or one of your first few times, you just stay in a touristy neighborhood, just to, for things to be more convenient, more safe, and all that other stuff. So, when you actually have some time in, some skin in the game, you can then go and branch out, right? So I filtered out those my neighborhoods, right? I got like 1,900 results, and you can further filter down. Like I told you, you have the condomínio free, the taxa de condomínio, the preço or the price. God, this keeps coming up. EPTU, the fee that you have to pay the prefeitura, the mayor, and again, ask your rental agent or whatever who has to pay that, whether your landlord has to pay it or you have to pay it, because sometimes you got to pay it, or a landlord has to pay it, or you pay your landlord and then they pay the mayor. So whatever. Números de quartos, that is number of rooms. Números de banheiros, number of bathrooms. Vagas na garagem, that is the spaces in your garage, right? So like how many, because some apartments come with like one space, no spaces, two spaces. So it depends. And then your area. So you'll see like 300 metros cuadrados, like, or 300 meters squared. So, and then, like I said, the amenities, you got the amenities, the Zap Imoveis. So you have like a piscina or pool, potato, 24 horas. So like a 24-hour gate man, right? Salão de festas. So that's the room I was talking about, where you got like, you could like rent the room for like a party and like have your friends come over and stuff like that. Varanda, that's a balcony. So you got all these things here. Aquecimento, that's like where it's heated, whether air conditionado, air conditioning, or maybe has air conditioning hookup. Area de serviço. Ooh, sorry, man. Churrasqueira, that's your barbecue. Sometimes these buildings have barbecue areas. So yeah, this is that's what the building is. Now, in the actual condominium, you can see you have a lot of the same options, and this is like the actual like sort of building, because some of these condominiums, they have like a set of buildings and you're living in just one of the buildings. Like mine is like 2 buildings and I'm living in like the second one. So yeah, that's basically it. So I'm gonna select some of these. I like places with a balcony, so I'm gonna select that, and the barbecue area. And I hate how they do that. I hate how they don't have an apply button where you can actually just select everything first, and then this is why I don't like Oelish that much, right? So mobilado is whether it's furnished or not. Most of the places you're gonna see are not gonna be furnished. So armários no quarto is the like your closets. Armário again is like your closet, right? Or your cabinet. So armario no cuarto is your closets in a room. Like, oh yeah, that's another thing. See, I just know so many things that it's just like hard to like make it all in one video. So like I said, it's gonna be a part 2. A lot of the buildings or a lot of the rooms in Brazil, they don't have closets, like built-in closets like you would see in the United States. So you would have to buy like a big sort of closet unit, right? They call them armarios, right? They're guarda-roupas, like a closet, right? And that sometimes they're big and they're huge and they're cumbersome and they take up space. So you got to be also just aware of that fact that a lot of these places, they don't have armarios no cuarto. Like a lot of these things, you have to decide what is important to you, because you might not mind that, other people might mind it. So all of these things, make a note of them. You know, you could also translate the page. But I'm just, you know, showing you, and I mean, if you're gonna live here, you might as well just learn a little bit of Portuguese with your boy. So yeah, armários na cocina is basically, like I said, the kitchen cabinets. So like I said, some of them don't come with kitchen cabinets. So let's just say you want kitchen cabinets, right? And again, I hate that you can't just select everything and then click apply and have all your results filtered out. So yeah, like I said, it went from like 1900 to 252. Like I said, a lot of them do not come with what you call it, these kitchen cabinets, right? You definitely want an elevator, definitely. So select that, and most of them are gonna have elevators, so you don't have to really have a worry about that. Unless there's only like 4 floors or something, or like very rarely have I seen any apartments that don't have elevators. So you're not gonna have to worry about that. All right. So, okay. And here we go. We've got the listings. Impulsionado. That just means, you know, promoted. So here's a nice little one. So I'm gonna like check this one out and see it. You know, I might open another one. This is in Pituba. Pituba has a lot of nice places. You know, a lot of here in Salvador, they have a lot of nice buildings because they're newer. That's like a newer money Brazilian neighborhood. But a lot of parts of Pituba and Costa Azul are kind of close to some favelas, like, so they do have some problems with, you know, some crimes and stuff. Again, that's another thing you want to look out for. Like, where is your place situated, or the place or this apartment you're looking at? Where is it situated? Is it situated near the favela? Is it situated around other, you know, nicer neighborhoods? Because that does affect your quality of your living situation. So I'm in Baja. Let's just click and show you what like the most touristy neighborhood would look like here. God damn, keep asking me this question. No. So yeah, this is the kitchen. Let me go into, you know, can I open this in a new tab? Okay. You see why I don't like Quinto and Andar? All right, so this, I think this is mobilado, so it looks like this is furnished. Because I'm seeing like Ditalagium. Okay, yeah, so it is furnished. Mobilado, quarto de serviço, varanda. Okay, armários no quarto, churrasqueira. So Ditalagy Imóvel, that's like what your apartment has, and the Ditalagy Condomínio is like what the building, what the space has. You know, it has a salão de festas, that room for, you know, throwing parties that you could rent and whatever. Has a portário, segurança de 24 horas. Animais, so like they allow pets. And it's condomínio fechado, or a gated community, like, or gated, like, you know, it's, you know, has some boundaries that, you know, you need to be authorized to let people in. So yeah, look at this. You see it's 3,300 a month. So right now, I think it's like exactly 5 to 1. So let me do the math on that right now. That's about like $600 or something. 600 and change, because, you know, 30 divided by 5 is like 6. Let me go on my calculator though, just to see the exact amount. No, not calendar. So 3,300 divided by 5.0. Yeah, it's like $660. And this is for how many bedrooms? This is for 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 1 space in a garage. So yeah, you see all that stuff listed here. Let's see the other pictures. Yeah, it comes furnished. It looks pretty new. Like they look like they got some quality flooring. They got a balcony because I did select that. And this is your verão area. This is where you do your laundry. You have that little, the Portuguese word is slipping me, but your clothing rack, right? And again, if you want to get the dryer and the washer combo machine, you got to ask your landlord or the building maintenance or whatever to see if that hookup is available. Because a lot of this is in Baja. This is the old neighborhood with the older buildings. This might be a renovated apartment within the last, 10, 15 years, it looks like. But that hookup usually doesn't change with it. So you might have to ask them to see whether or not that's possible, right? So, okay, look at the bathroom. Yeah, this place is definitely renovated because this is in Baja and most of the buildings in Baja are a little bit old. So, yeah, this is looking good. This is looking good. Definitely quality place. Got a little balcony area, like I said, another room. And these are fixed in the wall. So a lot of apartments come with this where they have like the desk and, the cabinets in the desk and the shelves and units fixed in the wall. A lot of them do come with ACs as well. So if I look down here, it says air acondicionado. So yeah, but a lot of them don't. So like in mine, I have to buy an air AC. So, and oh yeah, that's another thing. See, like I said, as I talk about a random thing, I keep on remembering details and tips. If you want to buy an AC, it's cheaper to do it like around, well, right now it's like May, May 19th, 2023. So like right now, like May-ish, June-ish is their quote unquote, well, not in quote unquote, because to them is winter. It's their winter. So the air conditioning and the air conditioning units are going to be a lot cheaper than versus you buying it in December, which is like their summer. So, and some buildings come with it, some buildings don't. You just have to ask or, filter in your listings and whatever. Let's keep going. Like, okay, you see the appliances are new, looking nice. Kitchen, yeah, okay. Got a nice little view. Okay, I kind of know where this is. It's right there in Baja. Okay, so yeah, this is a newer place. Yeah, I think that's all okay. There's like 2 spaces in the garage. This is where it's, this is the front of the building and whatnot. So yeah, that is one building. Let's go to the next, which is in Patuba. So Patuba's a little bit further out. It's closer to the airport. It's kind of closer to Cidade Alta here in Salvador. So let's keep going. This is like, let's just check out the pricing and the breakdown. Again, you don't have to pay IPTU or no condominium fees. So this price right here, this $3,900 is basically all that you have to pay, right? That's all that you have to pay. So it has 3 rooms, 3 bathrooms, and all the stuff I basically selected and then more. And they allow animals or pets. So let's just look at the rest of the listing and actual delisting. Okay, this is a big balcony area. I like that. And has a screen door. So you're protected from the elements and rain. But I'm sure you can just like slide this out and then have more air and more, have it more open. And you can actually customize that too. You can some people, they add a screen door to their balcony and, some people just leave it stock. And then this is their other stuff. They've got a gym in there. And yeah, this is, so you guys get the picture, man. I'm not going to spend too much time on Oilish because this video is going to be too long. I want to check out the other sites. So let me open up a new tab here and then there we go. Quinto Andar. This is one of my favorites because there's less stress in terms of the requirements. So if you're moving to Rio, moving to Sao Paulo, moving to Minas Gerais, moving to Belo Horizonte, Belo Hills, Belo Hills. If you move in they call it Belo Hills, or Belo Horizonte has that name because there's a lot of hills, laderas in that city. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah. So basically, a lugar, that's rent. You select your city. We're gonna say Sao Paulo, right? Bairro. Let me see. What bairro do I want? There's a lot of neighborhoods in Sao Paulo. I'm not even familiar with all of Sao Paulo like that. It's a massive city, bigger than New York. And I'm from New York. And I'm telling you for sure, it is bigger than New York, both in size and like area. Let me see. Liberdade. Yeah, Liberdade is a good neighborhood. I'm just gonna LM Liberdade. You can select more than one. Liberdade. Can I do comma delineated? No. Okay. Let me just search Liberdade, right? And I want to say 2 rooms. Let's say you want 2 rooms. A room for yourself, an office, and aluguel ate, or rent until what? So Sao Paulo is a little bit more expensive. That's like their New York, or Brazil's New York. So apartments are going to be a little bit smaller. It's going to be a little bit more expensive. So I'm going to put it up to 4K. So let's see what we got. Can I even find anything in Liberdade for that price? I'm sure I can, but like a lot of people say, like, Sao Paulo is expensive and Liberdade is kind of central in the city. So continuar. I should have just closed that. And yeah, I like that I like this site because they ask you qualifying question. Onde você gostaria de morar? So where do you want to live? Like, where would you like to live? And you say, you continue on. Quantos quartos você precisa? 2. Por qual preço você procura? I think I already selected all this, man. And so they're saying, everything included with the IPTU and all that other stuff. I think I said 4,000, right? 4,000. Você precisa de garagem? Let's see. Sao Paulo's a big city. They got a lot of transportation networks, and let's say you don't, or you could say tanto faz, whatever you got. Quais características são importantes para você? Like, what are you want a pool? But I like the balcony. Doesn't have to be furnished, no. So elevator and a 24-hour gate, man. So yeah, they ask you these qualifying questions. Mais alguma característica? So quintal is like a backyard. Armários de cozinha. Let me see. Air condicionado. Yeah, so yeah, let me just say that and that. And let's go. Close these cookies. All right, so they're asking me for my cell number, so I gotta put this in, So yeah, let me get back to you guys. Yeah, you do need a cell number for this site. I have totally forgotten that. But yeah, go watch my video on how to get a CPF. So once you got a CPF, you can go and get a cell phone here once you get here. But yeah, I'll get back to you guys in a second. I just gotta hide my number real quick. See, all of that just to like not have any apartments available. So yeah, Liberdade is kind of an expensive neighborhood. Let me just pull up the map of Sao Paulo because I kind of know. I'm not gonna claim to know everything about that place because I don't live there. I just go there from time to time. So I gotta like look up to see which neighborhoods I can put in. Jardines. Let me just change the neighborhood real quick. So I'm gonna say Pinedos. And really, I gotta ask I'm just trying to show you guys an example. I gotta really ask my Sao Paulo friends because this is a hypothetical I'm doing, and I'm not seeing anything for Cuatro Mil, which is like, let me even see. How much is that? That's like $800 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. Anyway, let me just go down to 1. I might have to just increase the price actually. I just want to show you guys. So let me go up to like 6,000. Like, wow, okay. So they've got 7 results, right? Again, this is like really, I love how they actually include the map on the side. You see, this is why I mess with Quinto and Andar more, because they actually include the map on the side, and you can kind of like, you know, see the area and, you know, just browse around and do like a map area search, right? So you open a new tab. I'm gonna just show you guys this. Let me close this OLE stuff. All right, so yeah, you see, like, even like when you click a picture, it like, you click the photos. Where? It's taking some time to load. It even has videos. Like I said, this is optimized for finding apartments. So it's like a lot better than OLE for me. So if you want to move to like the Southeast, like Rio, Sao Paulo, all that stuff, I highly recommend just, you know, using Quinto and Andar. So here we go. You see the apartment. It looks pretty new. It looks pretty spacious. I think this was at like, what, 4,000 reais, if I'm not mistaken. And I put all the filters, like, you know, a balcony, air conditioned. It has closets that are sort of built in. Yeah, they're built into the room, even though I feel like, you know, they protrude from the wall. So that's a little different. But this is the balcony area. This is the bathroom. Pretty nice bathroom. A nice spacious kitchen. I like that. Has its cabinets, you know, armários de cozinha. Looks like a dual sink area, and an open area that connects to the living room. So it's nice side. The verão area is a nice size too, where, you know, you do your laundry, got your laundry hookup. I think they said it has 3 bathrooms, the building. So São Joaquim, Condomínio de São Joaquim. Okay, that's it. That's all for the pictures. So, yeah, you see it has, let me see, it has 10 pictures of the bathroom and whatnot. Let me just close this listing so you can see what the listing actually comes with and why I like it. Breaks this down right in the corner, right? It breaks the IPTU. You're not paying for that. You do pay condominium fee. It's about 3,700. So let me do that. 37, what? 38. Divide that by 5. You're paying about $750, right? So you got 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms. It's not furnished. It's on the 5th floor. You got a balcony. You don't have a garage space, but, you know, you have a bunch of other things that, you know, it's air conditioned, comes with its air conditioners, you know, armários de banheiros, the armários de, you know, the cuarto and the kitchen. So it comes with its things, right? And it also tells you what it doesn't have, like, and you have videos as well. I'm not gonna go through that, but just in the interest of time, because we're already at like 33 minutes. But yeah, so just be mindful. Like, you see what I had to do? I had to create an account. Like, I totally forgot because I was using this on my wife's computer and she already had an account. So to use Quinto Andar, you have to have a CPF. So go watch my CPF video. You have to have a number as well, which you can get very easily from like a newsstand here in Brazil. They're like 15 reais or whatever. So it's not cheap. It's like the equivalent of $3 to $5, and then you put it in your phone. You follow the prompts. You set it up. I think I might make a video on that too. So, yeah, you need a phone number, and I think you can actually use your American number though, because I did see a flag in the little drop down. So you might be able to change countries and just get a text from WhatsApp. So, but you need like either your passport information, like your passport number to put in, and you need your CPF. So you might not even need a CPF. I just put in my CPF because I have one. So be mindful of that. But that's just their extra layer of security and verification, so they know who is on their site. Yeah, so basically that's it for Quinto Andar. Let me close all these. Let me just go straight from here to Zap Imoveis. I don't think they make you setting up accounts, so I think you could just set one up. I think you could just search. So you want to lugar, right? So let's just search that same. So you're looking for an apartment. Boom. Let's just search. So yeah, a lot better than OLX. Like I said, I like sites that are actually optimized for what you actually need them for. So a lot better than OLX. UI is a lot cleaner as well. You don't have to sign up for an account, so you can just use it off the fly like you just saw me use it. And you can select the number of rooms you want. So I'm gonna just say, let's say I want one room. Why is this a little slow? All right, and this one, oh gosh, why is it? My mouse is messing up. Tipo de aluguel, all right? So is it diaria, semanal, mensal, or annual? So daily, weekly, monthly, annual. So you want monthly. Most of them are going to be monthly, or a lot of them are going to be monthly. But in Sao Paulo, since they have a lot of transient visitors from all around the world, you do have those options to basically, let's just say your budget is $800. That's 800 times 5. That is what? That's like 4,000, right? No. That's what? 8 times 5. Why am I doing that? 8 times 5. 40. That is 4,000. So yeah, let's just go and see what I can get for like up to $4,000 or 4,000 reais. Do I want anything else? Let's just say I want that veranda again. Where is veranda? Veranda sacada. That is the little drying area like I told you about. All right, so let's just click on a random here. Let me just click this. For a 1-bedroom, it's about 2,000 reais. What? All right, I gotta click that. It opens a new tab already. So kind of like Quinto Andar, you can click a photo actually, and it'll open up a gallery, and you'll see basically all of what the, god damn, why does this, Want to know my location? Leave me alone. So this apartment actually looks a little bit older, right? So for me, I wouldn't go with this. I'd probably want something else. I mean, it is decent, but I wouldn't go with it. So that's Zap Imoveis, right? So last one I want to show you is Viva Real. That's the last one on it. Like, this video is like nearing a couple hours, but I want to give you all the tips. Just stick with me, rock with me, so you can just see this. You need to see this. You need to see how I'm doing my thing, and basically how you should go about looking for an apartment. So you click apartment here. God, I wish there's a way they could stop asking you about my location. You want a lugar, you want to rent. So here we go. We're gonna go with Belo Horizonte in Minas Gerais. So let's see what we got. And they don't make you set up an account either. I don't know what was up with Quinto and Andar, but again, you can Zap Imoveis apartment. You can filter on that. They got virtual tours and videos. Again, and this is great. This is great. Aluguel sem fiador. So renting without a guarantor. So if you're coming solo dolo, you might want to click that. So I'm gonna just click that, and say, let's say you want just a 1-bedroom joint. It's just you. And you go 1 bedroom, and you're not trying to pay. I mean, this is Belo Horizonte, so it's a little bit cheaper. So I'm gonna just say like $2,500. And yo, I swear the boys is watching me. Why are they asking for my location? Let's go with this place, Zapway. I think that's the company that's renting it out. I've got 6 apartments. Okay. So here we go. Click on a picture. You can go through. This looks like a newer place. Look at the floors. I really like the floors there. Big bathroom. I wish they had a door to kind of. It looks like they're not even done with this spot. So you'll see that sometimes. Again, like, look at it. It comes with nothing. Although it looks like it's a newer building, doesn't look like it comes with anything at all, right? So you get 1 space in the garage, though. 1 bathroom, 1 bedroom. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then they have the contact information for everyone here. Let me just go through another one, a nice one in Minas Gerais. Not now. So, yeah, this is somewhere that's furnished, right? And you can see all that it comes with, right? And it looks nice. It looks nice. Like marble, new bed, everything. Nice closet. Looks like it has a nice little view too. So yeah, this is something that I would rent. And for 2,000 reais, 1 bedroom spot that's already furnished. Let me see if that's the complete price. So yeah, with the condominium fee, right? And the IPTU, it's about 3,000-ish, almost 3,000. So the rent is about 1,900. So 1,950 plus the condominium fee. So the price with the condominium is 2,745 plus that 185. So the total price would be about 2,930, right? You divide that by 5, that's about like almost $600. So 586 for 1 bedroom spot, right? And let me see if they have a map to show you. Yeah, they got a map to show you where the region is. And we can just click this and just search that with Google. And you can bring up a map and just kind of see where that actually is. I think that might be more central. I'm not really too familiar with Minas Gerais at all. But let's zoom out here. And yeah, so it looks like it's not as central as I thought it was, but you can see where this building is located. They have the address here. You can also navigate through that map. They have like the contact and whatnot, other listings. So yeah, that's pretty much, like I said, I don't want to be too long-winded. It's already 45 minutes. I'm probably going to cut this down a little bit, but yeah, that's Viva Real. So those are the companies that you can use to search, or the websites that you can use to search. This particular site, you can actually search without a guarantor, or as they call it, a fiador. So make sure you keep that in mind, because I'm sure a lot of you might not even be coming with, anybody or know anybody here that can actually be a guarantor for you. And again, this has to be someone living and a resident at the bare minimum of Brazil. So they want someone that is someone that's native to Brazil to be your guarantor. So that's something that you're gonna have to be mindful of, right? So I'm gonna end the video here. This has been part 1. As you can see, even on the fly, as I was just remembering things that I was just talking about things, like I had all the tips here. So let me end the video here. I've shown you the sites that you can use, how to navigate the sites. I've given you lots of tips that you can, keep in mind and make a list of. And you, at the end of the day, have to pick where you want to live. And you're going to have to also pick like the type of amenities and things that you want. So do your research, do your due diligence, keep those things in mind that I told you, those tips at the beginning of the video, and then use these sites. Use, like I said, if you're going to move somewhere more southeast, like Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Belo Horizonte, Curitiba, other places, use either Zap Imoveis, Quinto, Andar, or Viva Real. Those sites are way better than Oilish for me. They're just for renting apartments and buying houses and whatnot. So they're optimized for what you need them for. Oilish is kind of everywhere and anything, so I wouldn't really recommend it too much. But yeah, those are my tips. So I hope you found value in this video. I hope this was something that you can bookmark, save to a playlist or something, and come and refer to later, because like I said, I've already lived this. I've already gone through the stress of looking for apartments here and moving here. So I can go on for days if I really wanted to, but this is looking like it's about to be a 2-hour video. So I'm gonna stop it here. And this has been Rocky in Real Time, and I hope you enjoy your day.